Good morning and welcome back to another video, and today is a noob's guide to 1 million gold part 2. Now just stick around and enjoy the video. Okay, so last time we discussed different types of farming methods and all that jazz with a noob's guide to 1 million gold, and I actually missed out a few things. Thanks to my subscribers, this actually got really well received all around by my little community, and I felt like doing a part 2 and just clearing the rest of it up. So without further ado, let's get into the methods. So first I actually forgot battle pets. Now battle pet farms are a mixture of different farms, so to speak, and you have somewhat different ones. You have things like the Filthling pet farm, which is in the Throne of Thunder, and this one can actually be done quite well. With battle pet farms, so to speak, I recommend actually farming up a bulk load of these and then selling them individually on the auction house as and when they actually sell. This is because they will provide you with long-term medium range gold every now and then, which actually helps in your overall gold in order to actually get to 1 million gold. This is because battle pets don't sell rather fast as materials do, but battle pets sell in a mid-range, so to speak, of sales. Now, depending on which ones you actually farm is dependent on how fast they'll actually sell. It does depend on the types of battle pets you're actually farming up. So obviously I just mentioned the Filthling farm. Now this one sells relatively fast, but you will need some form of AoE in order to do their farm. You have other farms such as the Zomstrock one, where you literally run around and you kill one mob, and that is the same as the Jade Mist Dancer farm in the Timeless Isles. Now this one is relatively easy to do, but obviously there is only a small density of mobs. This is probably why it costs that much, because it still has a high enough drop chance in order to actually gain, but because there's less mobs it makes it harder to get hold of because they're respawn timers. Now this wasn't a problem when you had server hop working for you on the Timeless Isles, but obviously that time has somewhat now passed. You can obviously use server hops, so to speak, but it doesn't really work as effectively as it used to do. Now, obviously, you do have things like the Bronze Whelpling, and this one is usually a gather up and burn down and just keep gathering and burning, because if you kill all of them, they will hyper spawn and they will actually drop the Bronze Whelpling within the time locked box thing. Basically, the Bronze Whelpling actually sells relatively okay, but the fastest of the selling I would recommend is the Zomstrock and the Filthling pets, as the Jade Mist Dancer and the Bronze Whelpling ones, they sell rather less than what they are, but they sell for more. So recommended the Filthling pet and the Zomstrock pet because they sell for a decent amount of gold and relatively fast. Now, on to actual instant respawn farms. I forgot to mention instant respawns, and I'm a bit of an idiot for not actually specifying this. Now, instant respawn farms are really easy to do, but they are one of those ones where it kind of gets glossed over, and most people actually do these to actually gain their gold. We will be going into the next version of those after the instant respawn farms, but at this moment in time you have your solo ones, which are mostly done by monks, and this is because you can gain a lot of mobs relatively easily. You just become the tank version of your monk, which is a brewmaster, and all you have to do is set down your ox statue, they all crowd over, and you use your AoE attack to actually burn them down. This is a semi-AFK farms. They provide you with either transmog, and you have things like the Desolus farm, which actually drops decent amounts of transmog and materials like cloth, and you can gain a lot of gold through that, but they are long-term selling gold. You have shorter term things like the Sumptuous Fur one, which is in Draenor, and this one is just solely a material farm. You do gain some form of greens, which sometimes have a decent amount of value, but other than that, these instant respawn farms are mainly for quickish or long-term gold. You really don't have the mid-range for that, besides a battle pet one, which is the Crimson Whelpling. Now I wanted to put a variety in most of these things for the for the Noob's Guide to 1,000,000 Gold for the instant respawn farms, because I would like to give you a variety of different types of farms. So the Desolace farm is obviously a transmog farm, so obviously if you're looking for long-term gold, I would farm the Desolace one. For the Crimson Whelpling one, this one's more of a mid-range, so it will sell every week or every other week for your battle pet to even sell. Now obviously the drop chance for the Crimson Whelpling farm is somewhat low, but you can still manage to actually get a hold of them relatively easily. It just requires you to invest a bit of time in order to get a hold of these because of RNGesus. Now the Sumptuous Fur one is the one that I would use for quick gold in order. So say you wanted gold really, really fast, and it doesn't matter how much time you actually spend on it, you want it fast, so to speak, you would do the Sumptuous Fur farm, because the Sumptuous Fur is still selling at a decent rate on the auction house, but it sells for less than what the battle pets and the transmogs would sell for overall in the long term. So this one's more of a short term gain one. So you farm up a load of Sumptuous Fur, bang on the auction house, sell it, because it's a material, it gets bought out really, really fast. And it's used to actually make the Hexweave bags, which are still used today. Now, over to other types of farms, which are group farms. Now group farms are either the 2x4s that you can find in your group finder, and these ones are relatively done in a group of people, and these ones are mostly done for BOE farms or mount farms. Now there are ones like the Drustvar one, and this one is for the Golden Mane horse thing, and BOE epics. Now this one is relatively easy to do. All you have to do is get in that group and just tag every single mob and burn them down as fast as possible to hyper spawn these mobs. In order to do this, most predominantly you will need a monk in your group in order to actually aggro more mobs over time, and then you can burn them down as a group. Preferably, if you aren't, then jump on your druid to actually do this farm, because then you can literally just tag every single one with Starfire or any nearby ones using its AoE effect of the Sunfire. There are the other ones, which is the Voldoom one, and this one provides you with BOE epics as well, also another mount. I would recommend that the Blood Feaster, which is the mount in question on the Voldoon farm, is relatively easy to do, but the drop chance is rather low. You are more likely to actually get a BOE epic than you are the mount. This is why most people are actually still selling the mounts for a decent amount of gold, and I recommend that this is most probably the fastest way you're going to get to 1,000,000 gold. If you want to get to 1,000,000 gold, you do your group farms. Seriously, I'm not joking. Like, I invest an hour a day in group farms and I come out with at least 100,000 gold's worth of stuff. That's pretty damn good, like, so to speak. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's really good in the grand scheme of things. Now, obviously, there are other things like the Silithus Transmog farm for like the Glorious Leg Plates and the Vanguard stuff. And these ones are done on a level 58 Twink. Now this is how you would do this group farm. Basically, you make a Death Knight, you get him to level 58, and then you stop his XP. You can do this by running over to the XP guy, which is usually in your capital city, and he will turn your XP off. And basically you won't gain any XP. You stay at level 58 because that is the prime number in order to get hold of the Glorious Leg Plates. You make your way over to Silithus, and it obviously, because you haven't done your Legion stuff, it hasn't changed. So therefore you will need to have to find a Silithus group, create the group, people will come obviously because it is old school transmog. You then spend the next hour killing all of the mobs of the Twilight cultists that are dotted around in each different camp, preferably the one next to the Cenarian Circle place, the outpost thing, base thing. It's the base where the flipping Flight Master is, so obviously I would recommend doing that. And pretty much all you would have to do is just kill all of those mobs. You do gain a lot of different types of transmog, and this one averages in around about 120,000 gold per hour, give or take depending on your realm for transmog. Now obviously transmog is a long-term seller, and this one won't get you to 1,000,000 gold super fast, but if you actually manage to invest your time in transmog, you will gain more gold over time, and you will exceed that 1,000,000 gold as long as you gain a strong stockpile on transmog. This was back in the first episode where I covered transmog, and this will mainly help you in the long term as opposed to the short term gains. With that being the case, let's move on to the next one, and that one is spawn camping. And spawn camping is relatively easy to do, and this one is by picking a boss or a mob or something, and you wait for it to respawn. Once it's respawned, you kill it, and then you wait again. Now spawn camping is one of those ones where it's primarily done with world bosses, and this is because you get your BOE epics or stuff like that from these, and you can sell them on the auction house. Now the most predominant one that I would recommend doing is Doomlord Kazakh in the Hellfire Peninsula, and basically he is a world boss in Outland, and basically on the throne of Kil'jaeden you will find him there if he has spawned. If he hasn't spawned at all, then I would recommend going over to Shadowmoon Valley, and the other one which is Doomroller outside of the Black Temple. Basically they drop a lot of BC epics which are transmoggable, and these ones are easy to actually sell on the auction house, and you can end up with a lot of gold's worth of BOE epics you can gain from these. These are like the Hope Ender, which you can sell on the auction house for a pretty penny, and I would recommend it because the transmog from these are rather sought after, and with a respawn timer to 4 to 6 hours, I would recommend farming up these mobs, mainly because they are world bosses and they're worth a lot of gold. You do have other ones like Poseidus, and he is a one that drops a mount in order to do this. Now this one is in Vashir and it's very simple to do, but you would have it's still on a timer to 4 to 6 hours of respawn timer. It used to be up to around about 72 hours for the respawn rate. That's why the amount has dropped down considerably, but you can still get a decent amount of gold for your time invested. My recommendation for spawn camping is mainly getting all of your ults and parking them there. Make sure they're actually able to kill the world boss once they're actually spawned, and make sure you can actually park them there and you're not going to move them at all. Log in one every 4 to 6 hours, or when you actually have time, predominantly really early in the morning or really late at night. This is probably when most of the people are asleep, and that will give you a better chance of actually finding these world bosses. And once you have killed them, you are able to gain the rewards from killing them. Now you do have other types of spawn camps which are bot mobs, so to speak, as the Nagrand one in Draenor, and this one takes you only a few minutes to kill 3 ogre elites, and basically they drop either a mana fiend pet, 1 of 3 to be precise. These ones can be sold on the auction house for relatively a decent amount of gold. I think it's from around about 3,000 to 8,000 gold each. That's pretty damn good for 5 minutes a day, and this can be done on every ult every day if you wanted to. Personally, I only stick 3 ults there as I don't really need that many mana pets, and they drop at a 10% drop chance. This one is it's really easy to do if you actually can invest the time, and I would highly recommend actually doing it. Along with that, we will go on to the last thing on our list, and that is mount farming. Now mount farming is really easy to do, and it's mainly just either camping a boss or doing a massive farm, such as the Blood Feaster and the Golden Mane for BFA, which I recommended in the group farms for the BOE farms. Now these ones are a combination farm. This is probably why they give so much gold away, but they will provide you with a lot of gold in the long run. This is because they are worth a lot of gold. These mounts are currently ranging from around about 200,000 gold to like 1,000,000 gold still, and it's ridiculous how much they're actually selling for. I personally think that these mounts are worth it to actually farm up, because if you don't, they're a combination farm, which is a combination of group farms and mount farms. giving you a chance of either getting the mount or BOE epics. You also gain a fair amount of Tide spray linen from these farms, and you can sell those on the auction house, which are a material which you can then sell on the auction house. This will provide you with some decent short-term gold as opposed to some long-term gold for the BOE epics and some even longer-term gold for the BOE mounts. These ones are relatively easy to do, and I personally recommend this is the fastest method in order to actually get 1 million gold, is by doing the current content group farms. Other than that, I would recommend transmog in order to actually gain 1 million gold, because if you actually invest the amount of time, you're going to exceed the 1 million gold in actually selling transmog. This is when I actually mentioned consistency in the last video. You need to be consistent and the willingness to actually do it in order to actually gain a lot of money. Predominantly, I would recommend that you do the BOE farms religiously for like an hour every day, and you will have like 1 million gold really fast. Like, give it 2 weeks, you'll have 1 million gold in your bag at least. This is because they're really easy to do and they provide you with a lot of gold in the long run. Obviously these farms can exceed this depending on the mount drop and all that stuff, so double check which farms you want to do. I recommend the Blood Feaster or the Golden Mane one. This is why I'm showcasing them, but there are other different types of mount farms and BOE epic farms you can do out in the BFA world, such as the Voldoon farm, and that provides you with a hyena mount, but to be honest, not too keen on the old hyena mount and that jazz. But BOE epic farms, worth it. They will get you to your goal really fast. I'm just unconventional with my Wednesday weekly gold stuffs, and I provide different alternatives to actually gaining gold than opposed to the mainstream methods, which you would say are current content. I rarely do current content stuff, mainly because most other gold farmers talk about this and or do current content stuff in order to earn their gold, and I like to provide a different variety to the table when it actually comes to gold making. So to speak, if you did these BOE epic farms 1 hour a day, such as with doing a 1 hour transmog farm that requires you to do 2 hours a day, which is usually a few hours, which is a couple of hours of your few hours that you are actually doing on the actual game. This will provide you with long-term gold and some short-term and mid-range gold. This will provide you with all the gold you need in order to hit gold cap relatively fast, and I would recommend that you actually spend most of your time doing those. If you really wanted gold really fast and you don't care about 1 million gold, but you wanted it a decent amount of gold really fast, and you've got a load of hours to actually put into this, then I would recommend just doing your gathering professions, such as I stated in the first video. But that being the case, guys, tell me what you think on the part 2. I just wanted to use this part 2 for a noob's guide to 1 million gold part 2, just to clear a few things up on why I do mainly older school content, as well as providing some additional things that I didn't actually think of and I thought of after, and I was like, damn man, I need to do these. Like, I need to clear this up because there is so much more to gold farming than just that. So I thought like doing a part 2, and I've done a part 2. So enjoy that. If you haven't obviously watched the part 1, go back and watch part 1. You get the general idea of how this actual, like, these two-parters actually work, but this will help you on your first steps in order to get a 1 million gold. But I would recommend, if you are not that bothered in making 1 million gold, so to speak, that you do something that you enjoy. If you just enjoy gold farming, then do something you enjoy. Don't do something that will give you the biggest return and you're just going to be bored, mindless, because at the end of the day, this is just a game, and at the end of the day, games are meant to be played for fun and not meant to be just all about making that gold as fast as possible. I'm really bored, I really hate this game now because all I spend is gold farming. Just do something you enjoy then. Do something you enjoy. At the end of the day, it's not the be-all or end-all. Other than that, guys, I hope that you guys have a lovely rest of the day. Now I hope you liked this video, and if you want to see more like this, please feel free to give this video a like. And as always, have an awesome day, guys.
Yeah.